than Age of Ultron, and this is gonna feel more like a true sequel to the Avengers movie, to that first Avengers movie, which I love, by the way. That's like definitely in my top three superhero movies of all time. I love the first Avengers so much, because it's the first time you see all those Marvel characters that you love in the same movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then another Marvel movie that I really dug, and I'm finna go into them one by one and dissect them. But my other favorite Marvel movie is Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, which a lot of the events of that movie, this movie is basically going to be a sequel to that movie, to that first Captain America movie. It's going to be a sequel to Avengers. It's picking up a lot of different threads, and it's carrying a lot of different balls. But from what I hear, it carries the ball successfully. It picks the ball up and it runs with the ball, and it scores a touchdown. For all my football people that understand football. But yeah, all the people that were in Age of Ultron last year are going to be pretty much in this movie. All the new characters that were introduced, like Scarlet Witch and Vision. You're going to actually see more detailed Vision, or more scenes with Vision. He's a very interesting character for them to create, and you really didn't get a lot of him in Age of Ultron, but what you did get, it was pure gold. So I'm very excited to get to see more Vision, and you're gonna get to see Ant-Man. Ant-Man was a thing that happened too last year, and it was very successful, and now you're gonna get to see him interact with all these characters. And I really think that's going to come off great, because Paul Rudd is great. Paul Rudd is awesome. He's hilarious. I saw the one clip online that they released where he meets Captain America. And that scene, it's like a little 2-minute clip or whatever. That was very funny. Paul Rudd is definitely going to add a lot of humor, and he might steal a few scenes from other people in this movie. It looks like Ant-Man has a lot to do. They show this in the trailer, so this isn't a major spoiler, but we know we're going to see a scene where Hawkeye shoots an arrow, and Ant-Man travels on the arrow, just like in the comics. Straight up out the comics. They're actually going to do that, so yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I'm very excited to see what Ant-Man does in this movie. Also, if all that wasn't enough, and it should be for anybody, any real comic book nerd, all that I've just mentioned, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Black Widow, also there's a lot of Black Widow in this movie, and now she might get her own solo movie now, because that campaign that was been going on since last year, where people have been trying to campaign for Scarlett Johansson and for Black Widow to have her very own solo movie. That's picked back up. That's still going on. I didn't even know that till yesterday, until I read the article. People are really rallying for a Black Widow solo movie, and it might happen too. If enough people get behind it and Marvel takes note, they can make this a reality. And if they do it, they should definitely get the Russo brothers to direct it, because they've been knocking everything else out of the park. So why not? Why couldn't they knock out a Black Widow movie out of the park? But Black Widow, she's gonna have more of a bigger role. Hawkeye, if you're a Hawkeye guy, I don't know anybody that's a Hawkeye guy, but some people do love that character though. So he's in it, After he retired in Age of Ultron, for some reason, he's decided to come out of retirement. I don't know why, because he was off the canvas. If you watch the Age of Ultron, spoilers if you haven't, I don't know, the movie's been out for a year, but Hawkeye ends up going back to his wife, his hot wife, played by Linda Cardellini. So I don't know what would make him come out of retirement again to get back in the mix with all these people with powers, but he does. So I guess maybe they'll do a better scene explaining that in the movie. Hopefully, yeah, Hawkeye's in it. If all that wasn't enough, then they also got Black Panther and Spider-Man in this movie. Those two alone, okay, you might as well just take my money. Take my money. And probably just because of Black Panther and just because of Spider-Man, I'm going to go see this. I'm probably going to go see this 3 times. I got to be honest with you. There's very good chance that I'm going to love this movie so much tonight when I see it that I'm going to want to go back tomorrow night, because I'm actually off tomorrow night too. So it's very possible that I will go see it again tomorrow night, depending on how much I love it tonight. And if I go see it tomorrow night, then it's probably a good chance that whatever day I'm off next week, I'm probably going to go see it again next week sometime. But how can you not go see this? How can you not have repeated viewings of this movie when Black Panther is in it? I just want to say I've been reading comic books my whole life since I was like 3 or 4 years old. Since I started reading, I've been reading comic books. I never ever thought there would be, I always hoped, but I never thought there would be a live action Black Panther movie. Or Black Panther would show up in any movie in live action. I think years ago when I was a kid, we always wanted Wesley Snipes to play Black Panther. That was a big thing when I was little. And I know I was discussing that as a kid way back in the day. I think that was way before Wesley Snipes was even Blade. And probably not too long after New Jack City, honestly. But it was before he played Blade. There was this big, I don't want to say this big uprising, but it was this movement for Wesley Snipes. I remember this as a comic book nerd as a kid. There's this big thing for Wesley Snipes to possibly play Black Panther in a live action movie. Just because he looks so similar to T'Challa, to him in the comics, that Wesley Snipes would have been the perfect person. But you fast forward now to 2016, and I guess Wesley, he still probably would have made a good T'Challa. He would be an older version, I guess. But it still would have been interesting if they had cast Wesley Snipes. But they didn't. They cast Chadwick Boseman. I'm very excited that they got Chadwick Boseman to be in this movie, because he's been in a shit ton of movies. But most notably, the 2 movies that you're going to know him the most for are he played Jackie Robinson, baseball player Jackie Robinson, in the movie 42. And he also was James Brown in Get On Up. He played in 2 different biopics. And I saw both those movies, so I was very familiar with Chadwick Boseman when they cast him as Black Panther. I really, really love 42, first of all. He's awesome in that movie. If you haven't seen 42, go find that movie and watch it before you do anything else. That's an amazing movie all the way around. And he's kind of like, obviously he's the main character in the movie, but he kind of takes a back seat to Harrison Ford and a lot of other great acting in the movie. But he played that part. He was Jackie Robinson in that movie. And then also, when Get On Up came out, I think like a couple years ago, not last year, maybe the year before last, when that came out, 2014, I think. Get on up. This dude became James Brown. He was so good at playing James Brown. After a while of watching that movie, you forgot it was an actor. He played that part. So now, for him to be Prince T'Challa, I don't know if he's a prince or a king. Yeah, he might be the king of Wakanda now, but for him to be cast as Black Panther, I know he's going to do well because this guy, he's a real actor. He's a real, like, what do you call them? Character actors that he really becomes a part when he plays a part. He became Jackie Robinson in 42. He became James Brown and Get On Up, and I think he's really going to become Black Panther. I don't know how much research he's done on the part, if he read any Black Panther comics to get prepared for this movie, but from what I've seen, and I haven't seen any trailers or any clips where he speaks or actually talks, so I wonder how his African accent, how is that going to come off? I haven't heard him speak yet. At least not in the, from what I've seen. There might be clips of him talking online, but as a Black Panther. But I think he's going to do very, very well. So if they would have just had Black Panther, they would have had all the other Avengers minus Thor and Hulk, but they had Black Panther. I think this originally was supposed to be Black Panther's coming out party, and it still is. This still is his first movie that he's in. He's going to have his own movie in 2018, I think, in a couple years. So it still is his coming out party. And a lot of people that are not familiar, or a whole new generation that are not familiar with Black Panther, are going to know all about him. And I fully expect for there to be a lot of Black Panther costumes, Halloween costumes for kids, and a lot of grown-ups dressing up as Black Panther. If I'm not a pimp this year for Halloween, I might even consider dressing up as Black Panther, but maybe, I don't know. But if all that wasn't enough, and to me, all that was enough to sell me on this movie, these fools are at Marvel have managed to secure the rights to Spider-Man. That's right, Spider-Man, that Spider-Man. He's going to be in this movie. Peter Parker is going to be in the Marvel Universe. They've been trying to do that since the MCU started. They've been trying to get the rights back from Sony. It's got to be in the conversation. That's a really great movie. Spider-Man 2. The first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire is pretty damn good also. Then the third one, it kind of ran off the rails a little bit. But I don't think that was Tobey's fault. I don't think it was Ted Raimi, the director's fault. I think by then the Sony studio got a hold of, they wanted too much. They wanted Venom. Sam Raimi didn't even want to do Venom in that movie. It was Sony's decision to have Venom and to have this whole Sandman story where he's a bank robber, but it was just too much shit going on in that movie. I don't think Spider-Man 3 is the worst movie ever, but it's not as good as those first two Spider-Man movies. So then that happened, I think, in 2007 when Spider-Man 3 came out. They waited a few years. They didn't wait that damn long. They waited almost, 5 years, I guess? And they reboot Spider-Man. And they reboot, which there was supposed to be originally a fourth Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, but that never happened because he got rebooted and he morphed into Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield became Spider-Man. Around this time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has started blowing up with Iron Man and Thor and Hulk And I remember, because I remember going to see